a minute. You guys are looking at your cell phone and you have a weatherman here in town?
Hey,
I can see exactly what's going on.
right here.
That's right, he's still here. He's still here.
I'm trying to stay relevant. I'm trying to stay relevant. I know it's hard.
He's still here.
Yeah.
Guys, when we were off the air, we were talking about the anécdotas, experiencias, everything that, you know, like the news that most impact us. Like, I can imagine in your case, maybe el huracán Ike.
Sí. Era
Allison, la
Allison
tormenta
también,
Allison.
sí. Estaba aquí cuando pegó Allison y yo también tenía agua en la casa. But when I was here with Ike, we stayed downtown, real close to downtown at one of the hotels because we didn't want to have to go down, you know, back to our home to cover the news.
It was not safe
it was
anyway.
Wall to wall. Yeah, it was wall-to-wall coverage, 24/7.
24/7.
For about a week, right?
Oh my gosh,
we did
it
this
was-
for about a week.
Yeah, well, was it a
también-
week? Yeah, it
sí,
was
it
like
was about a
several
week or
days.
so.
Yeah, I mean, we were
Several
like,
days.
you
Yeah,
were
for about a
covering
week.
in the weather matter, but we were like covering the
Street,
people's
yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
The
People's
people's
stories,
story,
yeah.
like, you know, people that lost
Everything.
many things,
Yeah.
everything.
Absolutely.
But I have two big experience talking with, you know, I was working for the Spanish channel and Cindy for Channel 2 in English. So, agarré una exclusiva de unos travestis que los estaban inyectando silicón industrial, and they were dying.
No,
They were dying. They were dying. It was a
Exactly.
huge story.
It was a huge story.
La policía arrestó muchísima gente. So, I brought the story porque uno de los travestis me habló, hey, Andrea, era latino.
Sí.
Era latino,
No,
trabajaba
muchos
para
de-
un...
Unfortunately, yeah, they were.
La mayoría eran latinos.
Sí.
Entonces, we did the story as exclusive, but Cindy was my friend. So I said, like,
Right.
I need to tip Cindy with that, but after we air the story, because
Right.
otherwise, my
It's-
news director will kill me
Yeah,
for that.
absolutely.
Right.
So
It's-
then I talked to her and she said like, oh, really? Okay, give me all the whole information. I said like, Cindy, but you cannot put it on the air now.
Right.
She said,
Yeah.
no, I promise. So next day,
Next day, I go out all night long.
We
I
were
think
all
it was
night
like
long.
1 o'clock in the morning, and I go because this apparently the guy who was doing this allegedly, was it a woman or a man who was injecting?
it was
the-
another transvestite.
Okay, it was a
Another
transvestite that was injecting other transvestites with industrial
Silicone.
silicone in their rears. A lot of that was
And here
back
too,
in the day.
I
in
vaguely,
the chest.
I vaguely remember that.
Okay, but
yes, it was
anyway, a
big
lot of them
story.
were dying. It was tar. It was stuff that you don't want in your body, obviously, very toxic stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was one of the things we were talking about is that, you know, when you're working for competitive stations, todos somos amigos, no es que.
But we were not really a competition. And in that case, because it was an exclusive for us, we don't want to know English, no Spanish, put it on the
Right.
air. But they were in English market anyway.
Right.
No. so
So
it wasn't
that's
a lot.
why and then Clara Harris. You remember Clara
Yes,
Harris? La
I-
dentista, la dentista que le pasó el carro a
In
su
the Hilton,
esposo
yeah.
Sí,
tres
en
veces
Clear
en
Lake.
Clear Lake.
In Clear
Yeah, in Clear Lake. the
That
Hilton
was a
in Clear
huge
Lake, yeah.
story.
It was
Yes.
Not only the
national
story,
story.
yeah, national
Yeah.
story.
Right. I covered
Luego
it
escribieron
for-
un libro. And
See, no, I covered the story. I got the exclusive interview with Clara Harris in prison, and I covered the story from its beginning until the end, and was on CNN and NBC Network News covering
Yeah.
that story. It was a huge deal back in the day, and but anyway, I gave the story to Andrea. I said, "Hey, listen, I'm interviewing Clara right now, but tomorrow I want you to go talk to her."
no, but this is the thing
Payback.
that no,
Payback
but
for the sharing of the
friends
story,
of
yeah.
Clara Harris, which is the one that till now they're taking care of her twins, that they're probably 15 years old now.
yeah.
No, I'm older.
They're probably older, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a
So
while.
their friends only they only trust Cindy.
Right.
They were only like, you know, we're only gonna give it to Cindy so I told Cindy like, please tell them to trust me too. So
I see.
Cindy was telling like, okay, well please, you know, she's from the Spanish television,
Right.
Clara Harris, Colombiana.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah.
please, you know, give the interview to her. So it was pretty much Cindy and I from among of the whole stations that we were getting the
You were
exclusive.
getting exclusive
Right.
stories.
Yeah. Then another channels were getting the story anyway, but we were like breaking the story because they were like trusting us, but she was the one that made the contact first. So that's to tell you like how we help
Right.
each other
Right.
on covering the stories. I mean, like, I was not seeing her as a competition. She was my friend
Yeah.
anyway.
And there was
No, but
actually,
you know what?
when you're
We're
talking
all
about
friends.
but you're talking about two, and things are kind of coming around now because
Right.
it used to be back then, the Univision and the Telemundos of the world were over here, and the 3 networks, or 4 networks now with Fox, were over here, and everybody kept their end going. And
Right.
now the #1 station in town, from what I understand, is Telemundo, you know,
Yes.
closely followed by Univision. So now things are really changing. Talking
Right.
about the changes with the phone, now
Completely.
that friendly
Right.
competition, it's not as friendly as it used to be, because just like within the last 6 to 7 months, when Telemundo started roaring, the lion came out of the cave and said, you
Yeah.
know what, we're #1. We are what everybody's watching in town, and it's the Hispanics in this growing market that are making a difference. They still watch TV, and they don't necessarily have a phone.
Correct.
Or don't
the
want to
the
buy a
Latinos
phone.
are still watching
They're
TV.
still watching TV.
And that's good that you mentioned that, Mario, because 20 years ago, the English station never saw us as a competition. And we were not like really competing with them because, you know, we were the minorities, and, you know, for them it's like, oh, Latinos doesn't count really, you
Yeah.
know, we were not had the power that we have
Things
today.
have changed, yes.
Oh,
Things change.
dramatically.
Yeah.
So now the English stations respect us a lot.
Well, what's-
And also you see alliance between, you know, Channel 13 has alliance with Univision.
And the newspapers.
And
Channel 2
two,
and Telemundo are pretty much the same
Telemundo,
company.
right.
Right.
So yeah, on the newspaper now we're doing alliance between English and Spanish because at the end now we are really competition.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's very true. You guys mentioned a few years ago how you all had this friendly competition, and a few years ago we were the #1 station in town because of one man who happened to be one of my mentors, and it had to do with weather, and that was Dr. Neil Frank. When Ike hit, we had the hurricane expert,
Right.
the national
That's
hurricane
right.
expert, and everyone turned to Channel 11. I mean, I remember when Channel 11 was on DirecTV on a national channel. They actually put Channel 11 on DirecTV so that the nation could see what is happening in Houston. On DirecTV, the viewers from coast to coast were watching Neil Frank, and were watching Channel 11's coverage 24/7, wall to wall. And the thing that made us #1 was having Neil Frank, who, you know, what can I say? I'm a better man today because of my mentor, Dr. Neil Frank. And in friendly competition back then, everybody was trying to find a Neil Frank, or everybody was trying, like today, everybody's trying to find somebody that can speak Spanish and English, inglés y español
Bilingual,
también,
yeah.
para cubrir las historias. You know, what's happening, all the stories that are happening here in Houston, if you don't speak 2 languages, you may not get that story. So you're very lucky that you can both, you know, both of you are very lucky you can both speak multiple languages, and you're that much a better reporter because of it.
You know what? The other day I ran into Phil Archer. He's
Oh,
he's
yeah.
still on the
Yeah.
air, Channel 2, and he's one of the icons in the news here
Right.
in
He's been there
Houston.
forever.
He's a veteran.
That's right.
And he was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing these days?" Blah blah. Blah. He said, "I remember you. That thanks that you speak both languages, you helped me to interview one of the lady. It was a shooting in one of the Latino apartment complex. Everybody was like only speaking Spanish, and the mother of the victim, it was there, and she was giving us interview, and he was dying to get the
Yeah.
interview.
He wasn't
and she
getting
was
the
like,
translation fast enough on the
"Oh
phone.
no, in that
This
time,
didn't
forget
work
about
back
it,
then."
didn't exist." And he was like, "What is she saying? What is she saying?" I said, "Okay, I'm gonna help you." But we were not friends in that time, but he become like recognizing me because I helped him. I was like, no, arrogant, or like, I'm not gonna help you. No,
Right.
I was like, yeah. So I start like.
When was she not going to help somebody? Believe
No,
me, we've known
No.
of Andrea for
Right,
quite a while. So.
right. No,
So-
but I think
Friendly
all the
competition.
stations. I
So
mean,
then he remembered me for that. That was good.
but I think news is a small fraternity. I mean, yes, it's very competitive. I mean, my bosses would have wanted me to get the story before anyone else, and you want to be the first on the air with something. But at the end of the day, we all helped one another. I mean, even out on the streets and out in the field, you know, I had your back, you had mine. We always, you know.
There's a lot of camaraderie. I mean, just
Right.
recently, when the Super Bowl came into town, everybody from Telemundo to Channel 2 to Channel 11
Right.
was out in front of George R. Brown at the GRB, and I was walking to another event that was
Sure.
behind for a Fireman's Fund, and it was incredible just to say hello, to see photographers I worked with,
Yeah.
like Jorge, from the other stations in town. We were all celebrating the fact that we know who you are, and we know, you know, we love what you do, and we love telling a story. Everybody loves telling a story, whether it's the weather or whether it's about the demonstrations that are happening
Right.
because of immigration across the
Yeah.
entire. And this city is all about immigrants. This is probably one of the most diverse cities
Yeah.
I've ever lived in. That's why
Really
I
is.
chose to stay here for 33 years, because I said, this is my city. I feel, even though I'm from San Antonio, I said, I feel at home here. I feel like this is my home. And hopefully I was able to portray that on the screen, you know, to tell everybody out there in Houston or wherever, La Porte, Baytown,
Right.
you know, Bay Cliff, wherever you are, Galveston. Hopefully I was able to come into your living rooms and make it feel, because you were my friends, and we were, you know, we're always at a disadvantage because
Right.
they know you, but we don't know them.
Correct.
Right.
And when they come to you, it's like, Mario, Andrea. It's like, do I know you? No, but I
Right.
know you from TV. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, well, thank you.
Well, you know
Porque-
what's so
yeah.
funny is I've been off the air the longest. I've been 13 years off
13
the air.
years.
So in fact, I was only on the air for 12 years. So now I've been off the air longer than I was working. But last night I was out at a restaurant and someone came up to me and said, well, my girlfriend introduced me to some friends and they said, we know who you are. You're Cindy Garza from Channel 2. We used to watch you all the time. And I thought, oh my God, that was back in the Bush administration. I mean, that was forever ago. I can't believe you still remember me. But you still get those one people. Like
Brownie
one
was the
person,
mayor of
one
Houston.
person.
Brown. Mayor
No,
Brown.
was it Brown?
Yes.
I left when Brown? No. Really?
Well, it was Brown when I came to the city.
Yeah.
When I
Oh,
met
yeah.
you.
It's been so long, I don't even quite remember. But yes, it's been forever. And you know what? We still have that notoriety after so many years. I mean, when you're on this television screen for years, every single day, people are going to recognize you. But 13 years later, pretty good.
That
do
is
you,
a-
do
that
you
is-
miss
Yeah.
it? Do you miss
You know
it?
what? I miss the camaraderie. I miss all my friends in TV. Do I miss being in waist deep water covering hurricanes? No.
I can tell you, I don't. I don't even want to do that.
I'm
I don't even
sorry,
wanna do
I
that.
don't miss that part. Do I miss knocking on someone's door after they've lost a loved one? No, I don't miss that. I don't miss that. But I will say that, you know, I loved it. I did. I loved what I did. I loved the people that I met every single day. Those are the people who, you know, you hear so many stories, right? And everyone has a story to tell. You just have to shut up and listen. And you know who taught me that? Sylvan Rodriguez.
Oh, wow, I love Sylvan.
He
Yeah.
told me that. He said, everyone has a story to tell. You just have to shut up and listen.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what our job is all about.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I miss covering the news. I really miss. I do miss being under the water. I do
Yeah.
miss the adrenaline.
Come on.
Right.
I
really-
swear
you
to
really do?
God,
You really
I
do?
really do.
Yeah.
I really
know.
do. And I tell Jorge all the time because sometimes we do many times. I never did entertainment in my life till now that I'm a freelancer and we have our own company. I don't think I'm that good in that. I try to do it, but what I do the best, and that's what I feel more comfortable, is doing the news. I love to do the news, and I had a beautiful opportunity when Mundo Fox, a national television, they have for 3 years the newscast on LA, and we were working as a freelance reporter and photographer for Texas. I was like, oh my God, you know, God somehow give me
Gave
an
you the right
opportunity
opportunity, yeah.
to somehow keep myself involved in the news. Also RCN from Colombia, which is one of the biggest networks in Colombia, we're still doing stuff for them. So that
Right.
give me that little thing that I still have inside from the news. I love to do news.
And the thing about weather is the same way. It's like weather changes so quickly. We can have like this past week, we had a round of tornadoes that hit. So in an instant, you can go with Facebook Live now. We were talking about the transition from TV to multimedia now. And I can go on Facebook Live and still be relevant and say, hey,
Yeah.
I just had a tornado 2 blocks.
And you have it
from
before
my
the
house.
news.
Yeah, 2 blocks from my house.
Right.
About 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had a tornado that skipped across town, and I said, I just lost my power. And I was tracking this tornado again on Weather Max, on a radar Max, and I could actually see the rotation. It's amazing what you can do on a phone nowadays. It's like having your own radar.
Oh, yeah.
Your own professional radar.
Your
in
own
your
camera,
pocket.
Right,
everything.
right.
Yeah, it's like having your own meteorologist with you. And I was trying to keep everybody in Houston informed. And I said, you know, this tornado started off on the southwest side of town. And even this past week, we had a tornado down on the southwest part of town in Fort Bend County, and it skipped across to the north, and all the way through, it was doing damage along the way. So it's exciting to be on the air
Right.
when a tornado is happening. You can go and you can help people. You can save lives. You
Yeah.
can make a difference.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I miss about my job the most is the ability to make a difference and help. When someone calls you, the ultimate, I think, compliment is when someone calls you and says, "You helped me during Hurricane Ike. I spent hour after hour after hour listening to you on radio in my closet in the very back in the dark. I didn't know what was happening. We had stuff floating by." She said, the next day she woke up and she said, "I didn't even know, but my house was completely destroyed. Even though I was up elevated on, on some telephone poles like those houses down on Bolivar, I didn't even know that all my neighbors had lost their home. I was one of the lucky ones that stayed behind because I had a dog.
That's crazy.
And that's why I decided to stay behind. I said the dog wasn't going to be allowed in the shelter, and I decided to stay. And today she says, "I will never do that again." And she's told me, she said, "I remember you, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for making a difference and keeping me safe and making me feel like I had one person out there that was watching my back." So that's what I miss.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're lucky that we live in this time of the war, and we're lucky that we can keep making difference in the community through the social media. And that's what we need to do. We need
We're
to keep
also
doing
relevant
that.
because we can still be on the air.
We need to we need to do that. So guys, if people wants to keep up on you guys with the social media, what is your social media? What is your social media?
It's very easy to find me. I'm at Mario Gomez Weather. I'm no longer at KHOU, but you can still find me there. And I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Snapchat. I'm basically, I try to be as everything that I have 2 daughters and 2 sons, and I say, "What are you guys doing now? Tell me what social media I need to jump
be-
on to
yeah.
get on the
Right, I need to
bandwagon
be on
with,
all of
because
it.
I don't want to be behind." So I
Yeah.
always ask my 25-year-old. I even have a 15-year-old now that I really have to ask my 14 and 15-year-old, what she's doing now, because she's the one that's really the most active. Even my sons, they stay relatively active, but it's my younger one that really knows what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you
Right.
guys. I'm sure you guys have kids as
No,
well.
I do, but I'm on Cindy Garza Instagram. That's about it. I need to get on Facebook.
You need to get on Facebook, and you can find me Andrea Gomez TV on Facebook, Andrea Gomez News on Twitter, and Andrea Gomez News on Instagram. We always keep ourselves active. We always posting things. You always see us, and we
Absolutely.
Oh,
We're
always
always
see
sharing
you.
stuff
We're
as
always
well.
sharing stuff,
Yeah.
and that's keep us alive on this industry, and also close to the community, which is I thank the community because we're for
Absolutely.
them. We are here for them.
Right.
Well, guys, thank you so much.
Thank
It was
you.
awesome
It was
to
great.
have you here. Thank you so much to Star Building, the former Texaco building, 1111 Rusk. Very soon we're going to be for the grand opening.
Thanks for the comfortable
Yeah,
seating.
right.
for the
Yeah.
grand
Really
opening.
super
And even the
super.
water, it's
The star.
the star. And we are the stars.
Yeah.
We are the stars of KHOU of Houston. We were the stars of Houston for a while, and it's nice that you guys let us into your living rooms day after day after day. It was wonderful being a part of your life and a part of your family. Thank
And
you
now
very
it's not a living room. Now,
We can still
now
be
you
there.
can
thank
find
you guys for letting us to be on your phone.
much. Absolutely, absolutely.